I wanted to talk to you about phytonutrients. No, this isn't an infomercial. Phytonutrients like anthocyanins. These are the things that are associated with purple colors. Find lots of them in blueberries and blue corn and stuff like that. They're antioxidants, they're anti-cancer, some of them help memory and help the brain, and there's just, there's like good stuff in food, right? And so when you think about good foods, superfoods, what do you think about? You think about, hey, fresh corn on the cob or spinach. Not so much. There's a really interesting piece in the New York Times over the weekend about phytonutrients, nutrients that come from plants that are produced by photosynthesis and, plant metabolism. And what they found is that when we were hunters and gatherers, now keep in mind the human race appeared is the wrong word, but the earliest evidence of modern humans mutated or whatever, roughly 165,000 years ago in Eastern Africa. When we first appeared, we appeared as hunter-gatherers, and some would say scavengers. And we were hunter-gatherers for 155,000 years. Most of human history. And just in the last 7,000 to 10,000 years have we been farmers, agriculturalists. And when we were hunter-gatherers, we knew what was edible and what wasn't, and we ate a wide variety of foods. I read about this in Last Hours of Ancient Sunlight. I think that the average, I'm trying to remember the numbers. It's been some. I wrote this book in '92. My recollection is that the average hunter-gatherer would eat several hundred different foods during the course of a year, and that the average American eats only dozens of foods during the course of a year, or even during the course of their lifetime. I mean, just think of all the foods that you eat, right? There's really not that many. What? Breads, lettuce, tomatoes, onions, pickles, burgers, fish, whatever, if you're a meat eater, green peppers. I mean, it's just, there's like, you start adding them up and it's like maybe 30. And that's all we eat. And it used to be that, half the things out there that were growing, we would eat. I remember back in the 70s taking, Louise and I took a course at Wayne State University back when she was pregnant with our eldest. She and I took this course at Wayne State. We were living down in Detroit at the time on wild edible plants. It was actually, wild plant taxonomy was the name of the course because you got to make it sound scientific. Taxonomy is the science of, organizing things into categories. But basically, what we did is we went out in the woods, with the professor and the forests and the fields, and we picked the rushes that get burst into cotton at the end of the year. They look like a hot dog when they're mature. We picked those when they were raw, and we'd get lilies, and we'd get the pigweed and all these different plants. Dozens of different plants that we started adding to our diet, including dandelion greens. The key to dandelion greens is you have to get them when they're really, really young, when they're real small and real fresh. And then they're not just horribly bitter, they're only moderately bitter. And anyhow, we learn how to cook all these things, and we fiddlehead ferns when they're just before they uncoil. In fact, Louise and I had some fiddlehead ferns when we were in Vermont weekend before last. So what has happened is because we no longer eat this stuff, we're no longer getting nutrients, because what happened is over 10,000 years of agriculture, and in particular the last 100 years, and in particular the last 30 years of corporate agriculture, is that we have been breeding for and planting things that are starchy and sweet or fatty, and not things that have lots of nutrients. And so our diet basically doesn't have the nutrition in it that it used to. For example, corn. Blue corn has 99.5 milligrams of anthocyanins per 100 grams of dried corn. 99 milligrams in blue corn. But we don't eat blue corn. We eat white and yellow corn. White corn has 1 milligram. Yellow corn's a little better, 70 milligrams if it's really bright yellow. But the blue is the good stuff. Go into a store and say, hey, I'd like to get some blue corn on the cob. You know, the kind of stuff that the Hopis used to eat. Sorry, not so much. Spinach. We think spinach. Popeye, yeah. Eat my spinach. Well, there's 0.89 milligrams of antioxidants per 100 grams of spinach. That's 0.89. That's less than 1 milligram of antioxidants in 100 grams of spinach. Dandelion greens, on the other hand, have 6.89 milligrams of antioxidants per 100 grams. That's like 700% more. Apples. Granny Smith and Red Delicious apples. They have 205 and 108 milligrams of phytonutrients, respectively, per liter of juice. That sounds pretty good. 205 milligrams of phytonutrients in a liter? Check out crab apples. When I was a kid, we used to eat crab apples. I remember crab apples. Siberian crab apple, 4,600 milligrams of phytonutrients per liter of juice. Sikkim crab apples, 7,181 milligrams of phytonutrients. But that's only half the problem. Number one, our food no longer is nutritious. The other half of the problem is that we're no longer connected with nature that produces our food. BBC did a thing a while ago where they asked kids, where do potato chips come from? They call them potato crisps. Where do potato chips come from? And the kids didn't know. They didn't know where potatoes came from either. It's like we're not connected with nature. And because we're not connected with nature, we don't consider nature sacred. And because we don't consider nature sacred, we do things like create genetically modified organisms and trash the planet with our waste and with our pollution, and then we sit around and have debates about whether global warming is real or not. Because we've disconnected ourselves from nature. It's a sick culture, and now we're getting sick bodies.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
I think we need to go back to a little bit of hunter-gathering, and you can do that by growing a garden instead of a lawn.